Welcome back into Tavern Takes. I've got Josh and Will back today. We are doing a hot takes pod today where I had the guys come with anywhere from 5 to 10 hot takes, and we're just going to kind of go through them today. Maybe bring a little spice to the pod today. What do you
I
fellas
heard
think?
it's going to be very hot. That's what I
Hey,
heard.
also for any listeners, I do just want to shout out real quick one of our co-hosts. I just want to shout out Sawyer Huff for his coaching regime at Lamira. They did win in their regional tonight, and they play for regional finals tomorrow. So shout out Sawyer.
Shout out
I will be in
Lamira.
attendance.
Shout out Lamira.
We should
All right,
probably shout out B Kurt. We should probably shout out B Kurt too.
Beaker too for winning.
His regional final as well. B Kurt and Sawyer will both be on the Sunday pod where we are doing part 2 of Takes Galore. But let's get into this one. We're going to lead with some NBA. And we're going to lead with Will's hot take that the Miami Heat will win a championship within the next 3 seasons.
No.
That's all right. Here we go. We're going to do this. I'm throwing this at you guys live. Josh and I are going to rate your hot take on a scale of 1 to 10. And we are rating it based off of the hotness of it. So
Gotta
not how real, but like how hot it is. And that is a 9.5 on my behalf.
I like that.
I was going to throw in like an 8 or a 9 as well. I don't see it being.
You're gonna have to explain yourself on this one with like any sort of chance at all because I don't see it.
They got 2 All-Stars on the roster.
Hero Bam.
In 2026, they open enough space to make a big time move for a free agent or trade for one. They have a great contract in Andrew Wiggins that they could flip with Robinson. Even if they wanted to, they have an option for next year too. That's $19 million. So they have 2 tradable contracts. Any disgruntled guys, they have another first round pick open up after this season, so they'll be able to offer 3. If they get a star, I mean, they already got 2 guys that have been there and done it before. Jimmy was here, but if they can get an all-star caliber player, another one, who knows?
I just feel like this is like the Miami narrative every year is that they're gonna get it. They're gonna get another superstar. They're gonna get an all-star. They're gonna do this, and then it just like never happens.
Because they didn't have the guns for it. In 2026, they'll have it. So 3 seasons. I'm giving them next year and the year after.
This coming from the same guy who, like, once a year tells us, "Oh, Giannis, come to Miami. Giannis and Bam got the same agent."
I didn't say this. I have not said this, and I have not started any rumors. My boy right over here, Josh, it came straight from his mouth saying that Giannis might be looking out. So I didn't say it.
But I did say that it might be a possibility, yes, if we are a first-round bounce.
And we're talking possibilities here, right?
I guess.
I still think but I agree. It is hot.
Miami, for the record, Miami is 100% not the team that he gets traded to. Giannis,
I'm not saying necessarily Giannis. I'm saying a guy just doesn't want to play wherever they want, wherever they are, and they have the assets to do it. You know, it's all about opportunity, and they'll be able to. And I think they're.
In your fairness, I guess, like one player could change it all, really, but
they have a lottery pick this year. I'm hopeful.
Like I said, I'm gonna walk back to the same thing that I just feel like this is like a Miami narrative all the time. So I guess I'll see like when it actually happens. But
been right 3 times.
Hey, so in your scenario, did Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum like die of bird flu or something? Because I don't care if y'all get another All-Star, you're still not beating Boston.
I think Boston, I don't think much of them. I don't think they'll do anything this year.
Of course you don't think much of Boston. There's no shocker there. I don't like them. I'm not sitting here saying I like them. but I respect greatness.
Great.
Tatum and Brown.
Okay. Great.
Tatum,
Stokes.
I will say for the
if they win back to back, this year,
I
how do you not call them great?
I respect Brown. Tatum, I don't know. I don't fear him as a superstar.
Brown's been worse than Tatum this year. What do you mean you respect Brown more?
Brown won him the championship.
I don't think that's a hot take.
Garbage take.
Is better. I think Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum.
Oh, that's a hot take in itself. Hold on. Let's switch to that right now. That's got to be the dumbest thing I've heard you two say.
Is it?
You think Jaylen Brown has been awful this year?
But who won him that championship?
He's the one. He's the reason why they won.
Trust me, Jaylen Brown didn't do that by himself.
Oh, he had a team, but he made the biggest shots. He was the most consistent player the whole championship.
Oh, this is
Jason
so
Tatum
bad.
wasn't very good in the finals.
This is borderline slander.
I just don't. I guess I don't think much of Jason
Brown
Tatum.
Isn't a top 15 player in the league. Jason Tatum's probably top 7 at worst.
We're agree to disagree, Cole. I don't think much of Jason Tatum.
I actually don't. I'm actually on Will's side on this. I don't either.
I mean, I hate the Celtics. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to stick up for the Celtics here. After that, I hate it.
I look at the two-way game. And he's a better two-way player.
Jaylen Brown can't dribble with his left hand.
That was against Miami 2 seasons ago. Last season that wasn't the case.
Ugh.
I mean,
y'all need to listen to Bill Simmons a little more. Bill Simmons is the biggest Boston homer ever.
Exactly. That's why he rides Tatum. Because they all do.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would he not love them both? Why would he crap on one of them if he didn't have to?
This is a hot take pod, right?
Right.
Oh.
It's not. Does Cole agree to my takes? It's a hot take pod, but Cole has to agree. All right, Cole, what you got?
No. We can't move off this one. Hold on, we can't move off this Miami one because we have a guest submission from
I've been waiting for this one.
Co-host Sawyer. And Josh and I were on a little before Will, so Josh knows about this, but Will doesn't. This is a live reaction from Will. And let me preface this with this is one of the most outlandish takes I've heard, but it's a hot takes pod. So Sawyer will be on Sunday, but he needed the resident Miami Heat fan Will to hear this take. So here it is. Eric Spoelstra is involved in a point shaving scheme, and that's the only reason Terry Rozier still gets minutes.
Honestly, how bad Terry has been, it's something that it's outrageous, but there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason why you played Terry Rozier, and I can't think of it. Tonight
was horrid.
Oh yeah, that's been the whole season. That's not even shocking. Tonight, they go on a 17-3 run, and then they call. Spoelstra decides to switch out Terry to end the fourth. Then Minnesota gets the lead, and then he plays. He starts the fourth. He plays all the way, and then he subs Duncan out with 6 minutes left, and Terry just ends up being on a negative run. Minnesota takes a 5-point lead, and then Spo has to take a timeout to sub Duncan in because Terry was so bad. I don't understand why he gets minutes. I want to hate the Spo slander, but he has not been great this year. He's a great coach. He just hasn't been good this year.
All jokes aside, there's no way he's involved in a point shaving scheme.
But it feels like it.
That's funny as hell.
It feels like it.
He texted me that at work today, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so wild. But it's a hot take.
Hot scale meter 1 to 10.
Terry might be involved in this. Terry is being investigated by the FBI.
He might be tanking.
So honestly, it really feels like I've never seen somebody be so awful, so close to the rim within five. Like I've never seen somebody blow so many layups. Like they, one of the beat writers for the Heat tweeted something about this today. It was this negative point, or it was this net point metric that now they're doing, and Terry was the sixth worst player in the NBA all season. Yeah, he's
So
awesome.
bad. What happened to him?
Yeah, scary.
He got hurt last year. He got hurt at the end of last year. He was averaging like almost 20 points a game when he was playing. He was playing really good last year, and then he got hurt to end the season. He hurt his neck, and I think Miami got to him, bro. I just think he's just one of those guys.
All I gotta say is that dude has got to be in like an incredible amount of debt.
Makes sense then. He might be point shaving. But he's getting paid $20 million a year to be awful.
Yeah.
We have one more NBA one. Actually, we kind of have two. I guess three, actually three, if you will. We're gonna tie a couple together here. Let's go to Josh's. The Bucks will make the Eastern Conference Finals this year. Don't think that one's that outlandish.
So I don't think it's crazy outlandish, but I think it's a hot take amongst like Bucks fans who have been like on a roller coaster of emotions this year.
I think they're playing really well right now. I personally give that like a 5 on a hot take. Will?
I give it like a 7.5. Only because the Bucks will have the best player against most teams in the East, but the top teams, it's a toss-up right now. And if Dame plays how Dame is supposed to, which they've gotten hurt in the playoffs every season, that's a big if, and that's the only reason I give it a 7.5. And the problem with Cleveland is really deep. So like the Bucks it's Dame and Giannis, and you hope the other guys show up. That's what I think of them.
It is going to be a lot of health. I mean, if that actually pans out to that take being true, like it's going to be all on Dame and Giannis's health. I mean,
if they're healthy, it's a 5. I agree with Cole, but I don't.
I want to say something with this take. I personally, Josh, I know you were pretty torn about the Chris Middleton trade. I owe John Horst an apology because Jericho Sims out of nowhere has been a solid. Like I think he gets playoff minutes.
Jericho Sims.
Bro, the dude's playing well.
He's actually playing well. I mean, I don't know like what changes like when Bobby comes back and stuff, but like he's actually, I think I could actually see him.
He's an athletic freak, dude. Him and Kevin Porter Jr., which again for Marjon Beauchamp,
he's been really good in the fourth.
Yeah, who got cut?
We got him.
Those two in the pick and roll have been lethal in a second unit. Like, and Kuzma. Like, I know we all crapped on him, but that dude is settling into that third role so damn well, man. He's doing what he needs to do. He'll get like 13 points in the first half, and then he lets Dame and Giannis take care of the second half, and he scores like 5. But he's doing what he needs to do. Like I don't know. I owe Horst an apology. There's a lot of people, including myself, that wanted his head on a platter at the deadline when the Kuzma move was basically the only thing I thought he made. And it just Horst cooked. I gotta take the L there. I gotta eat my words on that one.
I think you're just feeling good right now. We'll revisit this closer to the end of the season.
I agree.
Well, yeah, we'll review
right now.
You're just feeling good right now.
Right now, I'm gonna give him an apology.
I don't know about you, but I hear Jericho Sims and Kevin Porter Jr. and I just the playoffs are different, bro. I don't get excited about that.
Porter Jr. definitely is playing in the playoffs. Jericho Sims.
So he decides to punch another woman again, and then he's out.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a good guy. I didn't say he was a good guy.
He's a good person.
I'm just saying.
Good basketball.
Very.
Good basketball.
All I'm saying is they're not very dependable. That's all. It's early. We'll revisit this later in the season.
The next NBA one, I'm gonna do mine. I'm gonna do my first one here, and you guys can rate it. My hot take, and I don't know how hot it is, but the Luka Doncic trade saved the NBA from becoming the least relevant of the major four sports over the next 5 years.
I know this ties into a take.
It ties into Will's, which is that the NHL will overtake the NBA in the next 5 years. But I think Luka Doncic to LA saved it.
I'll let Josh go. I have a lot to say about that.
Rate it before you get into it.
I'm torn on that. I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm torn on it. Like, I actually, when I initially saw Will's take on the NHL, with the hype of like the 4 country tournament thing and
4 nation, yeah.
Four nation tournament, and then that like taking over like NBA All-Star Weekend, the ratings like dropping tremendously in the All-Star Weekend and stuff. And then like the hype of the USA Canada game, and like hockey to me was like, damn, it's coming back. Like this is legit actually. But I don't think that's a crazy take though, because I think with the Lakers being like the NBA's basically prodigal son, I guess, if you will, if Luka and LeBron do something in this next, say, 2 years, and I'm not saying make the finals even, I'm just saying like maybe even a Western Conference Finals appearance, Cole's take might actually be close.
So I don't agree with that it's Luka saving the NBA. I think that it's the NBA like coverage, the main networks, what they talk about. All they talk about is it's Luka and the Lakers, the Knicks, and that's all they want to talk about. Like for example, Giannis scored his 20,000 point.
Yeah.
Was that mentioned by the NBA? I think. I mean, so I'll rate it, Cole. I don't disagree because I think you're right. That's why I'm with Josh. It's like a 5 to me. But I think that it's not just like the Luka trade. I don't think it saved the NBA. I think it gave the network something to talk about, that it's not LeBron, because now it's Luka and the Lakers. It's still the Lakers. But I just think it's the NBA, the way that the NBA is covered. I think that's what's killing them.
For the record,
I agree with that.
For the record, if it would have been Ant Edwards to the Lakers, I would have said the same thing. It's another star going to the Lakers. Yes,
it's the coverage. It's always the Lakers, the Knicks. Like that's all they just want to talk about the big networks. Yep. And I have a couple of takes because I just don't like how the NBA covers Chuck. I don't know if you guys saw his TNT, how they had to cut him off because he was just complaining about how Kendrick Perkins they just have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Well,
and I want to go ahead,
Josh.
Go ahead,
okay. No, Josh, go ahead because I'm about to move on.
Yeah. I do want to go back to Will's point that I actually think is a good point too with the coverage thing, because this might be the homer in me a little bit, but like Giannis and Dame are getting so disrespected to not get covered this year. Like Dame's having a better year this year than say like Curry, who the big networks,
he's on almost every night.
Yep. And Giannis can win the MVP probably every single year. He puts up damn near career numbers year after year after year and never ever gets talked about. Like the disrespect to small market teams. I'll go away from the Bucks first. The Thunder even. The Thunder don't really even get that big of coverage for being as good as they are. And it's kind of ridiculous. So I don't think like Will's like comment on like the coverage thing is ruining the MVP or the NBA is wrong because I think the coverage is terrible. Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it the NBA is just it's always going to be the major market, and it literally, like it or not, it's always what it's going to be. It's going to be the major markets with the NBA. Actually, we have two more from Will in the NBA category. One of them is that there should be two Defensive Player of the Year awards given in the NBA. One or Will, I'll let you explain what you mean by that.
Yeah, I just think that there should be two. There should be like a guard and or wing, and then one for a big. I just think that they play different styles, and they're always going to default to blocks and rebounds, but that's not really what the way that the NBA is played anymore. I feel like it's played in space. You need to be able to switch, and you need to be able to guard guys in the perimeter, and that doesn't necessarily leads to steals and blocks all the time, but I just think
Again,
that the bigs do impact the game so much. Like having this of like a Giannis or a Wemby just in the middle, protecting that does impact. But you can't forget about the wing, especially when the three's so prominent now, right?
so my opinion, I'll grade this one. I'm still gonna kind of give it like middle of the pack, like 5, maybe 6. Only reason why is because not 2-3 years ago, however long ago, Marcus Smart won the Defensive
And
Player
you
of the
shouldn't
Year.
have won it. And you shouldn't have won it.
Like, yeah. I will. Yeah, I did not like that Defensive Player of the Year pick, but actually, I think
But
Drew
then
Holiday
Rudy never won it.
in that time
Yeah.
frame. I think Drew Holiday got disrespected in that category in that sense. So,
I'm go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
I was gonna say I still think it should be one DPOY, but I see Will's point.
I'm giving it a 2 because I completely agree.
Wow, I won cool today.
I completely agree because we keep giving MFers like 2-7, 2-7, 7 effing DPOYs
He's
when
awful.
the guy can't stay on the floor in a playoff series. For those
It is
of
a
you
regular
who,
season award.
For those of you who didn't listen to last pod, 2-7 is, you know what? I'm not even saying his name. Someone say his name. I'm not saying
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
2-7.
Mister, he didn't believe it.
Keeps getting
He
these
started COVID, right?
DPOYs.
He's the one in the NBA like shut down like when he was in a press conference, I think.
I hate 2-7. I hate it.
Shut down the NBA.
I think he's the most overrated person in the NBA. Guy makes way too much money to suck, but whatever. We're moving on.
He's a big.
Another NBA take that Will has is that there should be a network for the small market teams. Again, I don't know if that's as much of a hot take as it is a really freaking good idea. But
that's a good idea.
I'll give it a 7, and the only reason I'm going to give it a 7 is because the NBA will never freaking do it.
Because it's all about
as
money.
As we've discussed, they don't give a crap about the small market.
Yeah.
This came from a Netflix show that I'm watching, Running Point, and they talk about like a Hooply deal or whatever, and then they end up doing it like where it was all the big market teams were going to do it, and then she drops out and tries to make like a whole league type of contract, and the big market teams end up launching their own anyway, and they lost out. But that's where the idea comes from, is like just I kind of want to go back to how it used to be. Just you can go to one network and you find all the teams, because now it's just like how many different channels do you need to find the teams you want? So there should be just like a network covering smaller markets that you can have access to it.
Yeah.
I agree. We're gonna do. Go ahead. You got something, Josh?
No, I was just saying. I agree full-heartedly.
So this next take is going to be a good transition into some NFL takes that we're going to go into next. But this is another Will take that Boston is the worst sports city in America.
It's not just NBA. It's every sport.
Well, that's why I'm saying it'll be a good transition into other sports. I don't disagree at all.
On the hot take,
I hate Boston fans.
Meter, I'm sure like if there is a Boston fan out there that ever listens to this, it's probably a 10. Yeah, I'm giving it a 1 because I think they're terrible. So
everything about it, just horrible. Never been, never want to go.
Yeah, they're bad.
I've been to Boston. It's a cool little city. I like history though. So non-sports related. That's why I like
Philly.
Boston.
Philly next.
Yeah, I was gonna say Phillies too.
Yeah, but Philly just has it. Other than I guess the football, but like the Eagles just aren't hateable. I don't hate the Eagles. So.
No, that team is
like every team in Boston.
maybe.
Every single team in Boston is just like can't stand them. Shout out to the Panthers though, getting Marchand from the Bruins.
Yeah.
Yep. I did see that. That was a big trade. All right, we're gonna move on to some NFL now off that Boston take. This one comes from Josh here. Josh says that the Packers will find a way to get DK Metcalf. I'll go first. I rate that as an 8. Will?
I think it's a 6.
I'll tell you why I think it's so high. I'll tell you.
Let him sell it to us.
Okay, Josh, sell.
Well, am I selling because this is a hot take pod, so it's supposed to be wrong, or? But
right.
Regardless,
sell as to why this has any chance at all.
Well, as we talked about off the pod, and I'll credit Will to this, but Packers are in the market for a wide receiver 1. I don't think that's any hidden fact anymore at this point. I have been one to say I don't want to give up a first, but like Will said, now this is also saying that Seattle moves off their first pick, their first round asking price. So if that happens, I think there's a real chance that we actually get DK, whether it's a second or a third in a player or something like that. But if it stays a first, and again, I'm giving Will this credit, we don't hit first round picks since we haven't hit one since like Jair. So that being said, if you're in the market for a wide receiver 1 and you think DK is the guy to do it, then just go do it, because why not? I mean, and I know it ties into the next one that we can talk about, but I guess you guys can debate it if you want now. But
well, I'm gonna stick with the DK one first before we get on to that one, because I have a lot to say. So Will, go ahead, because as you see from the flag behind me, I've got a lot to say about it. So Will, you go ahead and go next. Give your thoughts.
I mean, Tyreek was traded for a first, a second, and 2 fourths. And DK is younger than Tyreek. So I feel like a first is not asking for too much. And like I already said, they don't hit. So
yeah,
2 through 7 for us usually is all right, but our first round picks just aren't. And
so I think it's possible. Goody hasn't traded for a player, so it's him coming.
If Goody wants to get aggressive,
scared money don't make money, so they gotta, if they want to go for it, going off to your next take. So it makes sense.
So here's what I have to say on this take. And I'm going to bring up my arch nemesis, whatever. I'll call him by his real name, Pete Bukowski.
Shout out Locked On Packers.
That said it was insane for Seattle to ask for the AJ Brown package. which is what they're asking for, because I believe Brown was a first and a third as well, or something along those lines. DK and Brown's numbers aren't all that like drastically different for one. So for one, screw that guy, which I don't like Pete anyway, but screw that take. For two, here we go. Seattle's main team reporters have all said the same thing, which John Schneider did his radio hit. I believe it was yesterday. John Schneider's the GM for the Seahawks, for those of you who don't know, and said that DK Metcalf has been very cordial throughout this whole process, meaning he's not like, get me out of here right now. There's no chance I play for you.
Still
DK literally said that he understood that he might have to play out the remaining year of his contract.
Money talks. He wants his money.
Yeah, and he wants to get paid, and that's fine. Seattle's not going to pay him. I'm not like delusional in thinking that we're going to keep him or something. Although with Geno Smith getting traded, now half of Seattle Twitter is wondering if maybe they decide to pay him. So
Tyler Lockett gone.
Tyler Lockett's gone. There's a whole nother aspect to this now with Smith Geno being traded, because that clears $31 million. Now, whether they decide to sign Darnold with that or whatever, we're getting into a whole different topic that we're not going to get into right now. But the reason I think it's an 8 is because the NFL draft is in Green Bay this year. And as much as Guntakins can come out and say, well, I don't care that the draft is in Green Bay, blah, 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 they're going to want to hold on to that pick. Like, I know it seems dumb. Josh, I'll let me do my spiel, and then I'll let you counter. But I don't see them giving up their first this year. Now, if they offered Seattle a 2026 first, I think that's quite interesting, because I think Seattle would be willing to do that as well. I think Seattle at this point, I think, is all in for a tank.
We said a first.
Yeah. And whether that's a this year first or a next year first, I think Goody would be way more inclined to give up a 2026 first, because you would have Super Bowl aspirations, I assume, as a Packers fan, acquiring DK Metcalf. So I would be okay with the 2026 first and Seattle completely sucking this year for Arch Manning next year. But it's an 8 because Green Bay, I don't think, is giving up that first round pick. And Seattle, every report out of any Seattle reporter and anything I've read is that they're in no hurry to make that move. Basically, they said if it doesn't happen by the draft, which is the other article that came out, or other, I guess, tweet would be the best way to put it, that came out today. If it doesn't happen by the draft, they said it's not happening. So they have until the draft to make this move. And I don't see it happening for Green Bay.
So my counter to the draft is in Green Bay, probably going to pick. I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I think we're still probably going to pick in that draft. This is a hot takes pot, so let's just keep that in mind.
No.
But
take that with a grain of salt, Josh. I'm not calling you dumb. It's a hot takes pot.
But I will say, with the draft being in Green Bay, with us Packer fans pleading for a wide receiver in the first round since however long you want to talk about Aaron Rodgers for, what better way to get aggressive in Green Bay on draft night to go get one of those upper echelon wide receivers that you've been asking for years and years and years.
I feel like that would be more exciting for Packer fans.
What better way to fire up Packers fans in Green Bay in our home city draft than to go get DK Metcalf
and announce it like as had Roger Goodell announce it. That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy. I would love
that. The only other thing is DK's requests are also a little like, I want to go to a warm weather. So what I read is Will, when I read his requests, I was like, man, I think Miami would be a good spot for
Honestly,
him to go play.
he's what they
I
need.
thought
But
Miami.
would you
I
take
thought Miami.
would you take Tyreek? Because I hope it's not Waddle.
I don't know that we get either of those two in that deal, to be honest with you. I think we would probably just want your picks.
Miami
And then
doesn't
you
have
could
money. They don't have
Okay.
money.
No. So what you do is you trade for DK, right? And then you trade Tyreek to somebody else and get your
That's
picks
a
back.
hotter take.
No, you
They
get
don't
your
have the
picks
money.
back.
They don't have the money.
Well, okay, so you what is Tyreek making? He can't be making
His
less
dead
than
cap,
DK.
if they trade him, it's like almost 30 million.
Yeah, but you get someone that's willing to pay him. Pay some of that.
It's still, if you trade him, there's a dead cap.
No. All right.
Because
That would be
they have so many void years in his contract that it just wouldn't make sense.
I'll be honest with you. If DK gets traded, it's Vegas.
They already traded for Gino.
Makes
Yep.
sense.
That's I like
Parallel there. Makes sense.
yeah. That would be my take. So let's get into Josh's second one off of this. The Packers acquire a wide receiver one, whether that's DK, Higgins. Do you include Adams in that if they sign him? He is a wide receiver one.
I think so. I think he's okay. He's our wide receiver one. He would be Green Bay.
I think he would be a wide receiver
I think on a
one
lot
on
of
most
teams.
teams.
Yeah, I think he's.
I think on all but like
5.
maybe like 5 teams, he's wide receiver one.
He still had 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns with Aaron Rodgers' worst season. So and teams.
Whoever the hell the Raiders were trotting out at quarterback, and he didn't play for like multiple weeks.
Only 14 games.
Yeah. So he's wide receiver one on pretty much anyone not named the Bengals. Who else?
Miami.
Rams.
Yeah.
He
might be wide receiver one on the Rams.
He's better than Puka.
Yeah,
he's better than Puka.
Puka's just good in fantasy. He's better than Puka. Nobody can guard Devontae one-on-one.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. Who is he now wide receiver one for? Because I'm struggling to come up with.
Probably everybody but Cincinnati, probably, honestly. Oh, and Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Would he be the one in Philly?
No, I still think it's AJ.
No, AJ Brown.
It's a toss-up for me. I could see it both ways.
It's toss-up, but
okay. Besides the point, if you get Adams, that's a wide receiver one.
Yes,
so your take is that Jordan Love will be top 3 in MVP voting.
Sell it. I feel like Josh should explain it first, and then
Go for it.
So I'm saying you get your Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson talks every year, right? Like in the first 4 names in that list of MVP. So if we get a wide receiver one, Jordan Love inserts himself in the top 3 is what that take is. Whether he wins MVP or whether he's 2 or 3. If we get a wide receiver one, he's in the top 3 for MVP.
Will rate it.
It's hot. I think it's
I really agree with this. I really agree with the hot too.
Good.
Just because it's top 3, I could see him top 10. I could see easily be top 10.
He's already been in the top 6.
He just hasn't. No, who is he better than?
As far as all right. So
all right, hold on, Josh. Josh, let's play a game. Let's do this. I'll make it easy for you. I'm going to play a game.
Well, let me rate it. Let me rate it. I was going to say 7.5, 8. 7.5, 8, because
I got 8.
I just think he makes too many mistakes still. And it's a lot of the same things he's always done. and he puts
So,
up good numbers, but
yeah.
he makes a lot of mistakes.
So
All right, Josh,
obviously,
counter and
obviously I'll fight for my quarterback.
Yeah,
Like
I expect it.
I'm not saying like interceptions isn't the problem. Yeah, obviously that's a problem. Blah blah blah.
It's not just interceptions. It's when they happen.
Yep, I know, and I know that. But does a wide receiver one fix some of those problems? Like you go get like a bucket getter like Devontae, for example. Like let's just use Devontae since that was a talking point. Devontae being like the notorious like 3rd and 5, you need a first down. You can go to Devontae Adams. You need to throw that fade route in the end zone. It's Devontae Adams. Like 90% of the time, he's coming down with the ball. So does a wide receiver one change that for him? There was a lot. Packers were had 4 of the top 5 wide receivers, or 3 of the top 5 wide receivers in the league in drops this year.
Yeah.
So not completely all Jordan Love in terms of the receiving part of it. So does a wide receiver one ascend Jordan Love a little bit? I think it definitely does, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not a 9. I can see it changing, helping him. I think it'll help him statistically, but it's not going to change him throwing into double coverage.
Okay, Josh, you said top 3. Will, you said top 10. Let's play a little game called I'm going to run through some quarterbacks, and you tell me whether you'd have Jordan Love or them. Joe Burrow.
Well, okay. Obviously, Joe Burrow. This game can.
I gotta give you the knockout of the parks first, and we'll get to, because you said 10 was outlandish. So let's work through this a little bit here. So let's do this exercise on the premise that DK Metcalf or Devontae Adams are playing for the Packers.
Okay.
All right. Joe Burrow.
Joe.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I mean, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. I gotta do the home runs first. We gotta get these out of the way. Otherwise, someone's gonna listen to this and be like, "How the hell are you not mentioning Patrick Mahomes or whatever?"
I know.
So I gotta get the home runs.
And let me just say this: I don't think Jordan Love can be physically be better than any of those guys. And then you have Lamar. I just don't think.
Lamar.
I just think those guys' ceiling is just above. I'm not saying that Devontae, that him getting a number 1 won't win him a Super Bowl, because I think it's possible. Because imagine having a number 1, having a good old line, and having a young growing defense if they can get a pass rusher and Jacobs. It's a good team. So I'm just gonna say that. I'm just saying, player to player, I just don't see it.
So, but player to player, I know player to player in the NFL is important, especially for the MVP voting aspect of this.
Yeah, and that's why I'm doing this exercise.
But okay, so this year probably, but are you taking Jared Goff if Jordan Love gets one of these guys?
I'm not taking either. That's top 3.
Jared Goff was
okay, Goff. Josh, hold up. Goff wasn't my next one.
I'm just saying. I know what you're going to go through, though. You're going to go through those top 5 upper echelon quarterbacks, obviously.
I said top 10. I think he could play up to a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with top 10. But Josh, you kind of scuffed when we said top 10. That's why I was running through that list. But I thought it was a little.
I can think of 5. I can think of 5, 6 that are better than him. And even if they get a number 1, well, you already have 4. You got Lamar. You have to have Jalen.
You do. I'm sorry. You can say what you want about Hurts, but he's got to be in there.
Jalen Hurts proved me wrong this year, because I actually wasn't on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon until he won the Super Bowl and throttled everybody with Saquon, basically. But I'm saying that Saquon move helped Jalen Hurts, it ascended Jalen Hurts.
No, I agree.
So
and you already have Jacob, but they don't have the Eagles' O line. And okay, I'm just saying, Josh Allen, Patty Mahomes, and Lamar, they're just a level above all the other quarterbacks. I think
they're always going to be the MVP.
3. And I not even just MVP. They're still a young age. I just don't think that Jordan Love has that ceiling that's above those 3. I just don't, and I just don't see that changing.
Okay, but Cole said something that I wanted to touch on. I'm actually glad Cole said it. I'm glad Cole said it. They've all had MVPs already. I think Lamar could have won the MVP this year. I think voter fatigue kind of got him a little bit.
Yeah.
But is voter fatigue real in the NFL?
Jordan Love's not doing what Josh is doing, though.
No, Jordan Love's going to have to do something insane.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Josh,
these 2 guys are insane.
Josh, hear me out. Josh Allen won an MVP without a wide receiver 1.
But he should have.
His O line was insane though.
Without a wide receiver 1. Without a wide receiver 1.
And I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying we get a wide receiver 1. It could have sent him to the top 3.
Josh, I agree it's possible. I think it's unlikely. That's why I gave it a 7.5.
And this is a hot take spot. So if it's possible,
Yep. I don't think it's too hot.
Speaking of hot take pods, Will, before we get to one of yours, I'm going to throw one of mine out. And this might be the first 9 or 10 because this is pretty insane. But I think Bryce Young is a top 5 quarterback by the time the year ends next year.
We got to go 10. That's a 10.
Yeah, it's a 10. Yeah.
It's hot. It's hot.
It's a 10. Let's move on. It's a 10. Go, but it's a 10.
Let me explain myself. It's insane. I'm 100% agree with you.
Well, let's go through the list of quarterbacks.
The dude played so.
We should. Tua Tagovailoa.
The dude played so well with a Roundy's roster to end the year. And if they can just do something, if they can give him like a remote wide receiver 1 alongside Thielen, like I don't know. I'm also a sucker. I'm a sucker for a good story. I'm a sucker for a good story.
He was the number 1 pick. He has potential.
He has the talent.
But I just don't see it happening next year. I don't know if he said next year.
Remember this when mid-season Bryce Young's on a damn tear. And
again, his ACL's torn because he's tiny.
I still think I agree with you. Like, I think he could go off next year, and he's still not a top 5
torn in half.
How about this? He's a top 10 quarterback by the end of next year.
I was going to say, this is going exactly how my take was going to go. Let's go through the
list. This is worse. Yeah, it's worse. Let's move on. We already did it. This is bad.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad. Hold on.
Hot
Before
take pod.
I'm glad you said that to tie into mine because like this argument would be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I want everyone to know that I am all aboard the Bryce Young wagon. But anyway, we're gonna get into Will's one. Will said that Xavier Restrepo, and for those of you who, even if you follow the NFL and follow college football, you might not know who Xavier Restrepo is. He wide receiver
baller.
Miami. He is a complete baller, like Will said. He bailed Cam Ward out every time Cam Ward needed to be bailed out at Miami last year. Xavier Restrepo is really good. I personally love this take. I would love Xavier Restrepo in like the 3rd or 4th round in Seattle. Like I think he's going to be really, really good. So therefore,
2nd round.
I don't. Yeah, he might. I don't know where he is projected to go. So that was just me like throwing something out. But I give it like a 4 because I honest to God think he could be the best wide receiver in that class.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to go like below a 5. I don't know where I put it really, but below a 5. I think he's a dude. So I agree. 4 sounds good.
He's a good route runner, has great hands. He's He's on the smaller side. He ran a 4.4. he's he's what you want in a slot receiver.
Yes.
I think I don't know where he's going projected, but I think if they get him, I don't think he'll go first. He doesn't have the physicals for it, but I think he'll go in the second round. It's not a big.
He
It's not
reminds
a
me a
deep
lot of
offensive.
JSN.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
He reminds me a lot of
polished.
JSN. Yep. All right, Will, let's get into your there's a couple Dolphins ones on here that I want to touch on with you. There's definitely one you need to explain to me, and that is the NFL is the reason the Finns haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. I'm not sure how that's the NFL's fault, but I would love to hear why.
Well, let's just start with it's been 25 years, so there's been a lot of things, but the NFL does the Dolphins no favors. First, Ricky Williams, we trade the house for him. Then he gets suspended for smoking a little weed. He had anxiety.
And
What do you?
NFL's fault.
Yeah, they suspended him. And now they don't even test for it. So
This is bad if I've ever heard
then they take away our first round pick because our owner does what everybody does and tamper and talk to quarterbacks when you have quarterback, and the NFL takes picks from us. Everything. It's always the NFL does not want us to win, but it's changing.
This might be worse than my Bryce Young take.
I love this take. I'm gonna give it a 10. I love this take. It's a 10.
I was going for that.
I don't have like reasons why it's a 10. It's just a 10. It's just
that's my hottest take.
It's the most.
That is your hottest take.
I could have also added that The Rock is cursed. I could have also added that one. It is cursed.
Real quick, before we go into your next Dolphins take, why is Qdoba better than Chipotle?
It's just better. The guac. Okay, Qdoba's guac is inferior, but everything else about Qdoba is better than Chipotle.
I got no comment on that, to be honest with you. I'm lactose
Bro, you know,
intolerant.
all I gotta say is free guac and free queso.
Josh, you got anything on the Doba Chipotle battle?
I'm just gonna vote Doba's better because I've never even been to a Chipotle. So Doba's better.
I actually kind of like Chipotle better, but we're not getting into this. This is a
he
sports
also
pod,
likes processed
not
cheese.
A food pod. Oh, screw you, Will. I can't eat either. The other Dolphins one is that they'll win a playoff game next season. I'm not even going to give you a chance to defend yourself before I rate it because it's a 5.
Oh.
They've always had the talent to win a playoff game. It's a 5.
Well, it's been 25 years.
But
you're talented enough to win one. It's not like
we're cursed, and the NFL is doing everything to prevent us. I know. We're cursed, and the NFL does everything possible to prevent us from winning. I know.
I'll give it like a 5 or a 6. I'll say the Dolphins are due. I'll make Will happy and just say they're due.
Okay, Tua convinced Bradley Chubb and Teron Armstead to take pay cuts so they can sign guys.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Now, if Tua doesn't die, that is a big thing.
Hasn't happened yet.
Need him to die, not die. Need him to not have the fighter pose on a football field for one season, and I think you got a real good chance.
Tua has gotten better every season, and I think that they're at least this is what they're talking. No, at least what they're talking about, which has been different than all their seasons. We'll see is they're focusing on the trenches. The Dolphins have never focused on the trenches. So if they get a nice solid old line in there, I think we'll be all right. Especially too if they go after the front 7 on defense. I have hope. I've always said if the Dolphins draft somebody that's under 240 pounds, I will be mad.
I'm not arguing that. Tua hasn't gotten better. I just need the dude to stay healthy. Stay healthy for a season.
It's happened once.
That'll be
in 5 years.
I think that'll be perfect. Let's move on to One that hits near and dear to my heart, and you guys probably don't understand that because I hated everything Colorado. I don't necessarily think that Deion Sanders is a bad coach or anything, but F that team, F what they stand for. They're a bunch of front runners, and I can't wait for Shadura and Travis Hunter to get their ass kicked in the NFL. And it's just what's going to happen. So Will's take via our good buddy who may or may not end up on this podcast at one point, Brandon Gaddishek.
We're trying to get him on.
Yeah, we should get him on here. Is that Travis Hunter will not live up to the hype. And to me, it's a 3 because I don't think he will. Josh?
I'm torn. I'm gonna give it a 6. I think it depends on what position he plays, and I think he's a better corner than a wide receiver, and if he goes corner, I think that's better for him in the NFL. Even though corner is much harder to play, but I think he could transition his game better as a corner. I'm gonna give it a wait and see. I don't really know. Like I am kind of a Travis Hunter guy, kind of, but
of course you are.
I don't think it's like crazy. I think he could be good. I don't really know. I don't really have an opinion on this one.
Will?
So
it's not technically your take, so rate it.
No, it is kind of my take because I agreed with him on it. And that's why I wanted to bring it up because I think, like I said, I agreed. Like Josh said, if he plays corner, he'll have a better chance to achieve the two-way. And he has to go to so for one, he has to go to a bad team for him to be able to play both ways. And then second, you hear about him. You always hear about like all the play, like how he's a playmaker, but you don't really hear that he's elite at anything other than like just being a playmaker, which like he's very good at both. He's better at corner, but he's very good at both. And I don't think he's elite at both, kind of like a Shohei, where I mean the dude is good as a hitter. He's a better hitter than a pitcher, but that's why I think he'll be a good player, but I just don't think he's going to live up to the hype. I don't think he's Deion.
Josh, you got something you want to say before I go off? Because I'm about to go off. So go ahead if you got something.
I don't see him being a two-way player in the NFL. I really don't. Like, it's going to be
only been done once.
He's going to be corner or wide receiver, and I don't think he's going to be both. Like, that's why I think like if you restrict him to like just corner, I think he could be a decent player. I'm not going to say a great player by any means because corner is much harder than wide receiver to learn in the NFL. I don't know. I'm just so torn. So I guess Cole, go off because I don't really have an opinion on this one.
So here we go. Let's start with this. He played at Jackson State and dominated. Cool. Like, you're playing a bunch of nobodies. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not super talented. And he's not. Like, it takes a lot of talent to play two ways because not many guys can do it at any sort of Division 1, 2, or 3 level. He's a very talented kid. But he did it at Jackson State for, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 years that he was there. But either way, I'm not horribly impressed by that. And then you go to Colorado. And the Big 12 is garbage. The Big 12 is flat out trash. And I won't hear otherwise. He played Nebraska on the road at Nebraska, and he was a complete non-factor on offense. And I don't know his defensive stats from that game, but they got dog walked. I don't trust the dude against high-level competition. I really don't. And my issue with him is that his ego is so damn high that I think whatever team he gets drafted to, he's not going to accept I'm just going to play cornerback or, I'm just going to play wide receiver. He's been very public about how he's compared himself to Shohei Ohtani, like publicly on podcasts, on social networking, on social media, whatever. He doesn't drive me as a guy who is going to play one way. Like it's very clear that he's going to want to play two ways. And then, so say he gets drafted to the Giants, the Titans, wherever the hell he goes. He's going top 5 probably. What does that do to his ego? What does that do to the locker room if a coach tries to take a stand and say you're playing one way? Like, how does he react to that?
Can I say something?
Go for it.
Is his ego driven by himself and his play, or is ego driven by his coach, who does a very good job at marketing his own players? His own son, for that matter, who is not going to be a good NFL player, and everybody thinks should do it great. So
I get what you're saying, Josh, but if it was his coach that was doing this, that ego should have stopped the minute he played his last game at Colorado and started interviewing for these teams. And
I'm not saying
I just think his ego is way too much. I honest to God do not believe that he will be okay playing one way. I agree with you guys. If he played just corner and he does that, I think he can be good. But the problem is I don't think he's going to do that.
I think he's going to – Charles Davis from NFL.com mock draft has him mocked to the Jags at number 5. And I think if he goes to the Jags, he'll have the opportunity to play both sides. And
that's
I just don't think – but I think he's going to be mid. I just don't – I think he's going to be a solid player at corner. I think he's going to be really good. I just don't think he's going to live up to the Hall of Fame hype. That's just my opinion.
He's going to be mid unless he plays one way. Yeah, he's going to be mid unless he plays one way. If he can accept the fact that he can play one way, then I think he has a chance to be Pro Bowl good.
I think they'll give him a package on offense.
Well, okay, package.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, he's not going to have Coach Prime in his pocket anymore. So that being said, an NFL coach might make him be just corner. Maybe give him offensive snaps, like a couple of game, whatever. But I think he's primarily going to be a one-way player because that NFL coach, whomever it is, he's not going to have Coach Prime in his back pocket who's going to give him two-way position anymore.
So I think we all agree. That it's just I think we all agree that it's
his attitude.
Game. It depends, and I don't even think it's the attitude. I just think opportunity. I just think it depends what team he goes to. I think it depends what team he goes to, and like I said, I don't think he's going to be elite. That's just. But
all right. Let's move on here. Will, here's your chance because you wanted to talk Geno, and I kind of before we got started here, kind of poo-pooed the idea, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna drop a hot take in a way that allows you kind of come at me here. So, my hot take is Seattle drafts Jackson Dart, starts him this year. Actually, hold on. I rescind this. Seattle gets one of Sam Darnold on a cheap deal if they can get him, or Justin Fields, or someone on a prove-it deal. And they suck this year. They go like 3 and whatever. And Seattle drafts Arch Manning, and within 3 years, they win a Super Bowl.
It's not a terrible hot take. I mean, I thought when you were going to the Jackson Dart route, I'm like, ooh, they're gonna have to trade up because the mock draft I'm looking at says that Jackson Dart is going top 3. So,
Whoa.
yep.
Really?
So, yep. Yeah, he has Shadur going
That
1. So we
changed.
can go that. We can go there later, but um, I give it a 7, and only because I think Seattle is one of those teams that just they're gonna still get some veteran quarterback, and I just don't think they'll be 2-win, 3-win bad unless they trade up.
I agree, Will. I think you're going to get one Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, somebody like that, like what Cole said. And you're still going to
Justin
win
Fields.
7 games, 8
No.
games maybe.
F that.
You think you're
No
gonna be
way.
2-win bad, 3-win? Because that's what it takes.
Well, so my thought is they don't fix the offensive line. And they just
Well, and that's a fair assessment too, because that offensive line is atrocious. So
And right
the
now they have
offensive
no
line is
quarterback.
atrocious.
yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to put
That's it.
Justin Fields behind a shitty offensive line, and we've
We've seen
seen
what
that
happens.
story before. Yeah,
Yep.
we've seen that story before.
That's
So
fair. That's fair.
that's kind of where my thought process was with that. Is that they make some minor moves, but they don't do anything that moves the needle.
I don't think they'll get a top 5 pick.
What do you mean?
I just don't.
Next year?
Yeah, I don't think they'll be high enough to get them.
I think they can. As much as I'm okay with them trading Geno, dude, you guys are going to learn this year. Well, I'm going to learn because I'm a Seattle fan. But you're going to see how much Geno made up for our atrocious offensive line. You're going to see if we bring in Sam Darnold, oh my God, dude, if we bring in Darnold, 6 games max.
I saw Gino
6
make a lot of
games
mistakes.
max. Yeah, but he can make so many throws that Darnold cannot.
I am so Cole. I'll kind of give you this one because let us not forget Gino got hurt in the Packer game, and when that happened,
we were losing that game either way.
But when that happened though, like when that happened, you saw the
Sam Howell came in and it was
it was bad.
Howell.
Like we never played football.
Yeah.
Gino made up.
I saw that.
Gino made up for so much. Now, is he worth $45 million that he's asking for? Absolutely not.
I can't believe that. I can't believe Tom Brady's going to give him that.
45. Yeah, but the Raiders are just looking to be relevant. You know what I mean? They've been so bad. If they can win 9 to 10 games and push for a playoff spot, they're probably
that division is
okay
going to be
with that.
hard. In that division, I mean, they're in the
And Seattle's been that the last 4 years with Gino, or 3-4 years with Gino. It's been win 8, 9, 10 games and get dog walked in the first round. And I've been telling you guys in our group chat, that is what Seattle's ceiling was. It was maybe win a wild card game. And the end game is to win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And if you're just going to sit in mediocrity, at some point, you got to pull the damn plug. And what better time to pull the plug than when your 33-year-old quarterback is asking for $45 million? You pull that plug, reset, man. You got a good young coach. Mike McDonald is a hell of a defensive coach. Hopefully, who did we hire at OC? Saints OC. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Dennis Allen?
No.
OC,
Allen. He was their OC this year. I can't think of the name right now. But either way, you hope you hit on an OC hire and you go from there. But right now, Seattle's roster was never winning a Super Bowl. Seattle's roster, to me, was never getting to the divisional round. Like, it was never going to happen. So when you're, like I said, your aging quarterback asks for $45 million, you say, screw it. Let's reset. Let's do this. And that's where I'm at. Like, sign a vet, whether that's, hell, bring in Kenny Pickett. Let this be a dumpster fire. Let it be a dumpster fire for all I care. Let's sell at the deadline. Sell every asset middle of the season at the deadline. Accrue as much as you can. There's like 2 players I want to keep, and it's JSN and it's Witherspoon. And everybody else, I could care less. Like, that's where I'm at as a Seattle fan right now. Let's reset. Huh?
Is it Clint Kubiak?
Yep, it is. It is Kubiak. I couldn't think of his name. Yep. And go from there. No, let's do whatever. I mean, after we traded Russ, I thought we were going to be 3 and whatever, and then Geno surprised. Sam Howell isn't going to do that, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with the draft. If they move off of Metcalf and end up getting a first for him, maybe they do something with those 2 firsts to get up, to get Cam Ward, to get Shadur Sanders, to get
Cam Ward,
whatever.
Cam Ward's going to be the best. That's another hot take. Cam Ward's going to be the best QB.
No. I don't think that's a hot take. I would love Cam Ward. Cam Ward.
He's good.
Cam Ward to JSN would be.
I don't think that's hot either. I think that's fairly accurate.
That'll feed families.
That'll feed my family. I'll give you that. Josh, you got a Shadur one you want to throw out quick, or?
I was just going to say, I think he's not going to be a good NFL player. I don't care.
No, I agree.
I don't care. You can go.
I'm not a Shadur guy.
You can go to any team, any playoff team, anything. He's not going to be good.
I will say this: the man never played behind an offensive line worth of shit.
He didn't.
And so, he has proven when given time, he can make things happen. But again, he played in the Big 12, and the Big 12 is not good. Not good.
So he's never played behind a good O-line. His best traits are his accuracy and timing,
which is big in the NFL.
Yep. So I think he'll be fine. I don't think he'll be a top 5 player. I think he'll be good. I don't think he's going to be better than Cam Ward.
Let me say this.
I don't think he's going to be the best player, the best quarterback in that draft. I think Cam Ward.
I think Shadur Sanders will
be
a lot like a Darnold and a Geno on a better timeline. And let me say what I mean by that. I mean, I don't think it's going to work out with his first team because I think he's going to go top 5 to a dumpster fire. And unless he's given the opportunity to sit and let that team build behind a veteran quarterback, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not necessarily saying he needs to learn from that veteran quarterback, but what I mean is like a bridge quarterback where they can draft in the middle of the first round and build an offensive line for a year or two. And then I think Shadur can be good. But if that doesn't happen and he gets thrown to the dogs, I think he's really going to struggle. But then I think he could end up on a team like, I don't know, pick a team with a good old line and their starting quarterback gets hurt. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, holy shit. Like Shadur with time is insane.
I think he's going to go top 5.
Oh, he will. No. I agree. He's gonna go top 5.
So that means he's either gonna go to the Browns, the Titans,
Giants, or Patriots.
Or Giants. No, he's not going to the Patriots.
I know, but
and he's not going
Browns.
And he's not. No. But I'm saying like some team will have to trade up. He's not going to the Jags either. So some team will have to trade up to get him. I think I would have said the Raiders could have traded up before Geno. But
Browns.
I would think Browns.
The Browns have a deep. Ironically
also
enough,
the Jets. The Jets are at 7. The Jets are at 7.
All right.
Yeah.
So I give that take a 6 because I just don't think he'll be the best quarterback in that draft.
All right, let's move off of the NFL here. We have one college basketball take. Let me preface this. There will, I'm sure, be many more college basketball takes on the Sunday pod when we do this with Sawyer and Beekert, but this isn't exactly the hot take college basketball group.
Crew.
So the one we have is that, and it's from Josh, that one of Auburn or Duke will not make the Final Four. I actually give it a 7. I just think those two teams are far and away the best teams in college basketball right now. And ironically, the third one, Will, is Florida right now. I say Florida more than Bama, but I still think Auburn and
Beat
Duke
Bama.
are on a level of their own. And like I just said, Florida's going to probably end up getting a 1 seed here. So they're not going to play Auburn until the Final Four. And I think Florida is one of the teams that could upset one of those two teams. But if Florida ends up with a 1, it's not happening. So I give it a 7 because as
Just
someone
how
who
the bracket
consumes
breaks
college
down.
basketball, probably more than anyone else in our group of friends, and that includes Sawyer.
You know your college basketball. That's your niche.
It is. College basketball and college football are my niches. However, between those, Florida and Alabama are really the only two teams I could see beating either of those two teams before a Final Four run.
I
And
think so.
I don't think
I
it
give it a
happens.
6. I give it a 6 because I
Anything
every
can
year,
happen in March.
every year one goes down. Not all 4 make it, and I hope it's one of those before Florida. So,
And my thought process on this, I guess, if you will, it kind of adds to Will's what he just said, but there's always a favorite one that
Yep.
either gets a scare or goes down,
Yep.
and it's
always
I'm
by
not,
a team you never heard of.
yep. And I'm not saying that like they're not like Final Four capable. Of course they are. They're probably, yeah, like Cole said, like the best 2 teams in college basketball, maybe hands down. But one of those 2 teams is either going to get a scare or lose purely based off of historically. Like it happens. It just happens. March is crazy. You never know.
Yep.
I agree completely. All right, we're moving on to some baseball. We're going to wrap up with some baseball here. The first take comes from Josh that the Brewers will win the division and will make it to the divisional series this year. Josh, go ahead.
So, get rid of Hader, won the division. Get rid of Corbin, win the division. This year, who knows? But getting rid of why am I drawing a blank right now on our relievers?
Willie Adames.
Yeah.
Adames.
No, well, Willie, but
and Devin Williams. Williams.
Yeah. Get rid of him. Who knows? Craig Yoho, remember that name? Jackson Churio, gonna be
Love him.
He's an absolute stud.
Venezuela.
I just think,
shout out Venezuela.
I hate our owner, but I think like the Brewers are due for like a playoff win. We're right there every year. They break our hearts every year. I still think we're good enough to win this division because this division isn't that good.
Ass.
Yeah, it's ass. So win the division, I don't think is a hot take. Winning a playoff series is the hot take part of it because of our history of either losing right away or not making it at all. Go ahead and rate it. We're gonna win a playoff series this year.
I can go first. I'll give it a 4. Only because unless you play the Dodgers, I could see it happening because the division sucks. So then you already have that leg up, and I can see it happening. I like Churio.
I'll give it a 6 because I think the Cubs will be better this year. So I think the division thing is a little tougher than it was last year. Like Will said, unless we play the Dodgers, I like our chances to potentially win a playoff series. The Jose Quintana
Big.
signing was low key big.
Yep.
Jose Quintana's a known Brewer killer, also.
Yep.
Like torched us when he was with the Cubs.
I'm excited for Quintana.
It's a solid, and we get Woody back this year.
Yeah, we get Woody back. Yep.
They'll be fine. Like I said, it's a 6. I don't hate that take whatsoever.
You just don't have quite the Brewer faith for the playoffs yet, don't you?
All right. Well, Josh, do you want me to do mine shitting on baseball first, or do you want to do yours?
Do that, and then I'll say mine.
My hot take is baseball is more irrelevant than soccer.
That's
like in America, not like worldwide.
Oh, it's definitely
in America.
That's happened years ago.
Like no. Like the MLS is more important to America than Major League Baseball is right now. I hate Major League Baseball. I love the Brewers. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just done. I'm so sick of it. Like something's got to freaking change, dude. Something has to change. Like you got to put a cap. Some sort of cap.
For me.
I'm not saying it's got to be a hard cap, but it's a joke. Yeah. The Dodgers have like $4 billion in deferrals. Like, how the hell do you expect me to be excited about anything related to that sport about my team when one single team has $4 billion in deferrals? There's no chance. There's not a chance. I'm done. Like, I'm just done with baseball. Like, I'll go to Brewers games because it's fun to do in the summer. But other than that, I'm just out. Like, I'm so sick of baseball. I'm done with it. Like, it's...
So for me, that's hot to me because I'm still a baseball fan. I'm a baseball guy. I love baseball. So just my like homer side of the sport, like I love the sport. But outside of that, I can't even name like I can only name like maybe 4 MLS teams. And I'm a soccer player at like through and through also. To me, that's hot because, well, the owner, like the cap thing, the owners, it's their fault. Like the owners need to spend. The Brewers owner, for example, doesn't
spend. Is it their fault though?
Yes.
I
wholeheartedly think that it's
No. To me, it's not the owner's fault. It's not the owner's fault.
You already went, Cole. You already went.
Okay.
I'm going to moderate this.
Sorry.
Let him
they let it get to this point. The Brewers can spend money if they want to. They don't. Like, some of these small market teams can spend money. They don't. Like, Mark Encarnacion said it himself that he wants the ballpark to be a family-friendly oriented ordeal rather than going to win a World Series because that's more important to him. Fuck that. Like, if you have the money, spend it. You have the money. You know you have the money. These are billionaires.
I'm going to rate it a 2, and I'm only going to say that because I agree with Cole that the game is just going down. Baseball was my first like sport that I've ever. I'm a just fanatic, and that was the best sport, and they've lost me. And mainly because I'm a Marlins fan, and it's a team that like it just doesn't spend money. The team is, but yet owners are taking $40 million home and not doing it. They're just not trying to win. And I feel like at some point people get sick of it. And yes, I agree. I don't know that many teams in the MLS, but if you think of the bigger stars that are promoted, like the MLS is a deal with Apple. And then they're promoting the hell out of Messi. And these young kids are buying into Messi because he's a well-known player. Who can you name baseball doing that for? Nobody. And then now baseball lost ESPN. On top of that, you have the World Cup coming to the US. Like it's just a lot of things going. It's a
that's
lot of
huge.
things going for soccer. It's a lot of things going from soccer and a lot of bad things happening for baseball. As a longtime baseball fan, it hurts, but I see the baseball going on the same path that the NHL was before they made changes, and I think the MLB needs to make changes.
So, and what I'll say, like, if the Dodgers, Yankees, whomever, like, take your pick on those big markets.
I think they're on the same path as the NBA. It's just they're focusing on big markets, and I think that's an issue.
Yep.
But so what I was trying to get at was like, I think the MLB will make a jump to change before the NBA does, in terms of like what you're saying. I think so, because like if you keep watching the Dodgers win all the time, or the Yankees like be in it all the time, Red Sox, like I said, take your pick on a big market. If that keeps happening year after year after year, the MLB is almost gonna have to like forcibly change. But the one thing that I love about the MLB that kind of doesn't necessarily get talked about is some of these teams find a path to get through anyways. The Royals had no place. The Royals had no place in winning, and they did it. The Nationals had no place in winning, and they did it. Like
the Marlins won twice in the last 30 years.
Some of these teams do just sneak through anyway. And I'm not saying that's like good or bad for the league. It's good for the league when a small market team wins, obviously. But baseball is a sport that, like, it's, to me, and this is my personal opinion, to me it's harder to fix. You still have to hit the ball. You still have to make the plays. Like, it's not like the MLB or the NBA, NFL, whatever, that you may have refs on your side or whatever. Some of these umpires, like, you can't. It still takes that skill level, and that's one thing the MLB I think has over some sports is that, like, again, you still have to hit the ball.
It's the hardest sport. It's the hardest thing to do in sports.
Maybe besides golf.
No, I think baseball's golf. The ball's not moving.
Right. Yeah, you can't rig baseball unless you're Pete
hard
Rose.
To rig baseball. So that's where I'm like trying to put my perspective on the small market teams, that like some of these teams do sneak through anyways. And this is where I'm going to get into my take now. Not the take.
Well, hold on. I want to say one thing before you get into your final take.
Bro, you had like 5 minutes.
No. It's gonna be the end of the pod after Josh gets into this final take. I just want to say if the MLB is going to get any better, they need to get rid of that ass clown they got running the operation.
Yeah.
Manfred's
terrible.
Freaking go.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. Josh, get into your last take.
All right, my last take. Will, you're hearing this for the first time live.
I love it.
And it's because of my love for baseball. But
I love baseball too, dude.
The MLB playoffs are the most electric playoffs in all 4 major sports. And I'm not talking like the care for your team, like the NFL kind of thing. I'm not talking, I'm talking electric atmosphere.
Nothing like a Game 7.
Nothing like a Game 7 in the MLB. It's insanity.
So I'm gonna go first on this one, and I'm gonna say that's like a 4 on a hot take. And again, I think it's only because I still think the MLB doesn't do a good job of promoting it. But Cole can attest to this. So Cole and I went to Game 6 of the Brewers and Dodgers. What year was it, Cole?
2018.
Yeah. So
I was dude, Game 1. Game 1.
It was crazy drive. Like a bunch of crazy shit happened on the way down there. But that's beside the fact.
Flat tire.
Because I listened to Cole. Because I listened to Cole and took a shortcut. We ended up with a flat tire. But beside the fact, we made it to the game, and as I walk in, it's when Aguilar hit that. I think he hit a double to tie the game after the Brewers have given up a bunch of points, bunch of runs in the first. He hit the double to tie it, and I walked into Cole right as that happened, and I never felt the stadium shake, and it was rocking. You felt the just rocking. That was awesome.
So if you remember in game 1, because I was at game 1, if you remember in game 1 when Woodruff hit that home run against Kershaw, that stadium, like you said, that stadium was freaking insanity. It was the best.
Dude, it was moving.
It was the best, and okay, maybe not the best because the NBA Finals was insane. And when Cole and I went to the tournament, like that was awesome. But outside of like those two like bigger picture items, that was the best sports atmosphere I've ever been in, hands down.
I'll say this: I give it a 6, and you said the caveat. All right, I give it a 6. Caveat 4, because if you're just including NHL, NBA, MLB, and NFL, then I give it a 4. I've been to Seattle non-playoff games that were better atmospheres than that Brewers playoff game. And I know that's kind of hard to believe, but when Seattle's rolling, the clink, man, Lumen Field is rocking. And
see, my football team sucks. I never experienced
those like I've told other Packer fans this, the difference between, and I've been to Packer games, plenty of them. The difference between Lambeau and Lumen is the upper deck does not sit. Like at Lumen
that's one of
Field,
my least favorite things.
Nobody sits
things about Lambeau.
Nobody freaking sits.
You get yelled at.
And it's as loud, and it's as loud on first down as it is on third down. And I took...
Yeah, they pump sound.
No, it's not the pump sound. Again, been to both. I took my buddy when I lived out in Portland, who is a diehard Packers fan, been to Lambeau, to a Seahawks game. He's a principal at where my wife taught in Portland. And we went to a preseason game. And we left, and he goes, that was like a regular season game at Lambeau in terms of like loudness. And that's the only reason. That's the only reason I will give that a 4. It's a 6 because at the Bradley Center in 2014, that is the loudest I have ever heard a building. And I will.
Old Bradley Center.
Well, that's when Wisconsin played Oregon, and Wisconsin was down like 13 at half.
This is my counterpoint to you, because obviously I was at that game. I saw you. You know.
Yep.
The thing with the tournament, and don't get me wrong, that was probably like legitimately the best sports experience I've felt. But I've been to other playoff games. I've been to Bucks playoff games. I've been to, I mean, outside of the Bucks winning the finals, obviously. Wisconsin played in Milwaukee, and we got that luxury to experience. Wisconsin.
That doesn't always happen. That doesn't always happen.
So, like, I'm talking like Brewers being in the NLCS, you know, one game away from the World Series, that playoff atmosphere throughout that whole entire series was insanity. And then, like, you watch on TV when dude crushes a home run or something like that, you know, or strikes out the side or whatever, and the fans are just going rampant, and you can hear it on TV. Like, that's the atmosphere I live for in baseball. And
baseball needs to go back to that. Like the mic, when they had the mics, like you can hear the crowd. Now now you just kind of hear the bat, but you don't really hear the crowd. They have like noise canceling now.
But you know,
I feel like they need to do that.
They just go nuts. Yeah.
So, and then
I agree.
So, I'm glad you guys relatively agree. My last take to maybe cap off this pod, and it was a hot take just due to our friendship, was that one of Cole's hot takes is going to end up right, and we're going to kick ourselves for it.
Can I pick which one I think it's going to be?
Go for it.
It's Bryce Young, top 10.
Yikes. All right.
Let's go.
No. That's hot. I'm gonna give that a 9 because
all in on the Bryce Young wagon, baby.
No,
Bryce Young.
I think I gave it a 10. No.
I'll tell you what. I will make a promise on this pod. If Bryce Young is top 10 in
what do you call top 10? Because the eye test tells me he's not gonna.
Hold on. No. Let me finish. So
You
if
said top
Bryce
5
Young
actually,
is
didn't
top
you?
10, well, I did, but I changed it to top 10 to make it a little more realistic.
Bullshit. He's already changing it.
No, I changed it when we were talking about it.
All right.
If Bryce Young is top 10 in QBR,
QBR,
passing yards, touchdown. If he is top 10 in half of the main quarterback metrics, I will buy a Bryce Young jersey.
Okay.
All right. You heard it. You heard it on Tavern Takes first.
No,
cold.
Screw it.
That might be the cold take.
That might be the cold take.
If he's top, hold on, I'm changing it. If he's top
he's
5,
changing it again.
If he's top 5 in one of them,
All right.
he's top 5 in any one of the major quarterbacks.
You're gonna buy a jersey in one of them.
I will buy a Bryce Young jersey.
Virtual shake.
Bama jersey or Carolina jersey?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Bama or Carolina? I was thinking Carolina, but I could be talking to Bama.
No, do it Carolina.
It has to be Carolina because he'll be able to be talked into a Bama jersey. It has to be Carolina.
Yeah, not like he was benched or anything this year.
He was, but he came back. It was a dog.
All right.
So let me tell you this: if I wasn't a Seahawks fan right now, and I was just coming into the NFL, and I watched the back half of last year, I would be a Panthers fan. I would pick the Panthers for Bryce Young solely. But anyway, let's wrap this up.
You do love your short quarterbacks.
I do. Russie, baby. There'll be a Russell Wilson jersey framed and hung. I got 2 of them up there eventually, sooner or later. Gotta figure out where we're moving the second kid I'm about to have before I can decide where I want to put all my sports stuff. But anyway.
Put it in the room.
Look at him. Humble brag. It works.
Is that a humble brag or is that a my life's ending, Will? I'm not sure that's a humble brag.
Well, to be fair, you are house divided too, so you might have some conflictions with your wife.
Oh yeah. Hey, chat or hold on, everybody.
We don't have a chat, Cole.
Yeah, we don't have a chat. But we should
do it. Oh, we're gonna do it live.
Yes, we will. But we are a house divided. My wife.
We're gonna have a chat when we go live.
Yes, we will. My wife is a diehard Vikings fan. But anyway, let's wrap this up. Josh, where can they find you?
Someone smart in the house.
Everything at Robo39.
Will, even after that dumb comment, I'll let you tell them where they can find you.
Uncle Poppy 26. Hey, they have a good defensive coordinator.
Flores. Take it easy, guys.
Yeah. Peace.